All right, so for today's video, I've got a philosophical question for you. If you've got an FJ Cruiser and it doesn't have a ladder, is it really an FJ Cruiser? While you guys are thinking about that, we go ahead and install this ladder. And this is the ladder that we're gonna be installing. It's from Gobi Racks. It's the only ladder I considered for the FJ Cruiser. Gobi Racks is based in the US. This product is made right here in the United States. Super high quality. They've got a number of options available. You can either get this rack that I've got for the driver's side of the vehicle. They also make one for the passenger side here, and you can get it with the cutout for the spare tire or without that. They also sell a number of other rack options and various accessories for the FJ Cruiser, as well as a number of other trucks and SUVs, Toyota and otherwise. For this, you're looking at $295. I'll put a link in the description below. The install up here is very easy. There's no cutting or drilling that's required. They use a double-sided heavy-duty tape. If it was anybody else out there other than Gobi Racks, I'd be a little bit concerned about that. But because it's Gobi Racks, I trust that it's going to work just fine. First step of this install is we've got to remove the rear-mounted spare tire to give us better access. All right, so with the spare tire off, next we're going to install this upper hanger plate for the ladder. It goes right up here on the lip of the door on the upper left-hand side. We'll go ahead and swing the door open for this step. Bring you guys around here. You'll see it's going to install on this upper lip right here. This piece right here just slides on like so. You want to make sure that it's pushed in all of the way, and then we're going to slide it over to this direction so we've got 1.5 inches from this edge to the plate. Then we're going to mark that with a piece of masking tape before we pull off the double-sided tape and install it permanently. I'll show you guys once I've got the masking tape laid out to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about there. So here's a look at the plate from up top. You'll see we've got our masking tape marking out our position. We're 1.5 inches from the edge of that plate to the edge of the door. That's measured from this corner here to the edge of the door right there. Now that we've got it marked out, we're going to go ahead and remove this plate. We're going to clean this surface with rubbing alcohol to make sure we've got a really nice clean adherence. And you'll see inside we've got the double-sided tape. We're going to pull off the red strip there. And then we're going to slide this into position, making sure that we've got it pushed all the way back and lined up with the blue tape. With the upper mount installed, next we want to remove the bolts and washers from the bottom of the ladder, set those aside, and then we're going to take this and set it on the bolts of the upper mount. Want to make sure that's sitting flush up there, nice and flat, and then we want to line up the left side of the ladder here with the edge of the window. All right, and once you've done both of those, next we're gonna get out our tape again, and we're gonna mark the edge of the ladder right here on this plastic body panel on the back of the door. Go ahead and take our tape here, line that up. Then we're gonna remove the ladder and set it aside. Next, we're gonna take the rubbing alcohol and we're gonna clean up the surface right here for another piece of that double-sided tape. Once this is dry, then we're ready to get our ladder again. You see on the back side down here on the bottom, we've got another piece of the double-sided tape. Peel off that red piece again. And then we're going to line up the bolts on the top and make sure when we push this against the bottom that it's in position. And then next we're going to open up the door. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. So we'll swing this open, bring this camera around, and on the opposite side of where that is attached, we're going to clean along the bottom here, again with the rubbing alcohol, and then we've got the pinch plate that we're going to adhere on the inside of the door. On the other side, the ladder comes to this edge right here, so we're going to be putting this pinch plate in complete opposite there, facing the opposite direction. I have the red facing you guys so you can see the positioning. So we've got to make sure to clean this whole surface here really good. This is pretty dirty. So you want to make sure you use a few cloths and then again use the rubbing alcohol to make sure we get it really nice and clean. And then we want that to be fully dry before we adhere the pinch plate as well. All right, and once that's dry, we'll again pull off red piece here. I did go ahead and bring a piece of tape around from the other side again so that I have the position correct. Slide this in here, line it up with that tape, and we'll push it on Next, we're going to install this clamp. You may need to loosen these bolts just a tad before you install it. Slide it on like this over the pinch plate. And then we're going to line up on the other side. I'll give you a view from that angle. We'll tighten the bolts that we removed earlier on that side, and then we'll tighten these two as well. All right, and here's a look from this side. Again, we've got the plate that slides on here. The two holes in the lower plate line up with the two side supports on the ladder here. And then the bolts and washers that we set aside, I'm going to go ahead and insert through here and tighten them up evenly from one side to the other. And then they supplied an Allen key along with the rack. We'll use that to tighten these up. All right, so once these two bolts are fully tightened, then we're ready to tighten up the two nuts. On the inside here, you need either a 9/16 or I got away with a 14mm socket. Extension's also going to be helpful. Got one right here, one right here. Tighten those up, not overly tight, just until they're nice and snug. Next, we've got to install the hardware on the tops of these two bolts here. First, we're going to install a washer. Then we've got a locking washer. And finally, a nut. And with those two bolts tightened up, we are done with the install. We're ready to remove all the masking tape and get our tire mounted back up. Now, I know before we end the video, you guys want to see a quick demonstration of climbing up on the ladder, so I'll give that to you real fast here. You see it holds my weight just fine. I did mention at the beginning of the video that I was kind of unsure about the double-sided tape, but I didn't really understand how the ladder works. Now that it's installed, I can see that it's basically compressed on the door, so the tape isn't what's holding up your weight. One thing you do want to keep in mind though is you shouldn't climb on the ladder unless the door is closed and locked. If you have any comments or questions on the ladder or the install, feel free to leave those in the comment section below. Again, this is linked in the description if you want to check it out for yourself. For more Toyota videos, be sure to subscribe. In the meantime, thanks for watching.